Okay, this is the third video for the fan portion. So in this video, we're going to make the fan assembly. From last video, we have all the meshes done. So we have 2D meshes and 3D mesh and a nylon bar, that's the 1D mesh. So today we're going to make all of these things. Okay, so those are the spiders and the sea bush and some sea bars. So before we start, we have a small example on how the pin connection of pin joints, because basically our model has only pin joint. We don't have ball joints. Okay, so that's a pin joints. Then especially on this part, we're gonna use this as example. Okay, we're gonna have the C bar welded on the U-shaped handle. Then the spider in the middle is actually can rotate freely with respect to the C bar. Okay, and here's the example, and it's already animated. Okay, so let's take a look at the structure first. Let's turn this to light. Okay, so the two blue spiders are connected on the outer frame, the outer shell, and the blue C bar in the middle is also connected or welded on the spiders. So all the blue stuff is welded and it's a rigid body, except the black. This black spider is not connected on the C bar directly. Okay, it is connected through this SP. Okay, so the SP is like your bearing. You can define how this bearing works if this can rotate on the Z direction in this case. And the black spider is actually connected to the red arm here. So the red and the black is one body, okay, one rigid body. And the blue C bar, blue RBE2s, the yellow, and this 2D shell, that's another rigid body. And those two rigid bodies are connected through this SP. And now let's take a look at the animation, the final results. So remember, the spider in the middle is not connected on the C bar directly, but through the SP or the bushing. So you can see if we increase the frame rate here. Okay, top and the bottom spider plus the C bar is one rigid body. Then the spider in the middle can rotate freely on the C bar. So that's the structure we'll be using in our project. Okay, now let's turn this off. Okay, so starting from our part, I'll simply just delete everything here. So you probably will have some different numbering compared to my model, because I already had those things. Anyway, so this should be what you have since last video. And first we're gonna create a pin joint here. Okay, that's the one we just saw. Okay, so to create a pin joint, first we need spiders or RBE2s. Okay, so to create RBE2s, we need a source node. If you turn on this, we need a source node and a target node. And the source node is right in the center of this hole. So the first step is to insert nodes in the center of the hole. And let's insert node and create. And notice we don't have polygons on the screen. So now we cannot snap to the center of the arc, what you need to do is you need to turn on the polygon. Ideally, you just need to turn on the mid face because you don't want to create the center on the 3D shape. You're not sure if it's on the top or the bottom. You just want to create a node on the center surface. So that's the center of the circle. That is one node for the spider or RBE2. That's another one. And in the middle, let's create one first. Most of the time, the place where the bushing is or where the rotation happens, we will need two nodes, and one each belongs to each part. Then they will be connected by a bushing. This is how we create the rotation. Okay, but today we're gonna just insert one first. All right, so let's hide some all the polygons, hide all the meshes. All we need is this first. Okay, hide the 3D. Now first we're gonna create the spiders on the handle. So 1D connection and RBE2. Okay, source node is the center node, and the target is all the nodes on the circle. And here we can use the method called the feature edge nodes. So this way you don't have to pick everyone one by one. And notice we only selected a portion of the nodes on this whole circle. That's because of this smart selector tool or the filter. Okay, within 30 degrees it'll pick up any nodes. If you increase to 40, it should pick up all the nodes around this circle, because this circle is not very smooth. The angle between those two edges are too big. So we need to increase the filter angle. So 12 nodes as a target, and the auto creation. Okay, for the first one, apply. That's your spider because it looks like a spider. Anyway, so do the same for the bottom. The target, that's still on feature edge nodes. Now this time it'll pick everything. And this time I don't want to create another collector because they are for the same part. We'll just uncheck the auto creation and put this in the first RBE2 collector. Okay. So now the RBE2s and the handle are rigid connection. If you put any loads on the center of the RBE2, it'll be fully transferred to the handle. Alright, so if you like, you can change the name on that. RBE2s itself doesn't have any properties, so if you right click edit, there's nothing to edit. Okay, you can put all of them in one collector. Sometimes I like to separate them because so they can have different colors. Then we can color code the RBE2s. Alright, so that's the one on the handle. Then we can turn on the blade shell, and we need to grab this hole into the center node. So the center node is source, target is feature edge nodes again. Then I need a new collector for this spider. Then we can rename this as RBE2 on the blade. Okay. Then you can also change the color if you like. Alright, so the next step is the C bar. Oh, that's the pin. Okay. And I think I saw some people say our cat didn't have a pin. So in the fan, we don't really need a pin. You just use the C bar. And you don't want the pin to be welded on the center spider, right? Because it's going to rotate on the pin. So we cannot use the node right away. We needed to insert another node, create, right on top of this node. So at this location, we have two nodes. One is for the C bar, the other one is for the spider here. And they are not connected now. And we will put a bushing between them so they can have a degree of freedom. All right, now we can't see the nodes. What we do is we just hide the spider. Okay, we can hide the mesh also. So this way we know the C bar will go through those two spiders and then they are welded. And let's insert the C bar. Okay, yeah, 1D element, C bar, auto creation. Okay, so we'll insert the top half of the C bar. Then be careful now, you have to make sure the bottom half is also in the same mesh. So uncheck the auto creation and select add to existing. Make sure this mesh is the top one. We'll add this bottom mesh to the one we just had. So those two pieces are the same piece, okay? And there's a node in the middle to provide a connection to the center spider, to this. So now those two are not connected, and those three, the top and the bottom spider and the C bar, are connected. They are welded. That's one rigid connection. Okay, now let's connect the black spider to the pink C bar. Okay, or purple. All right, so insert element and create. Now that's the bushing is officially called a C bush. Okay, sometimes we call that bushing, and that's 1D collector, auto creation. So we need to pick two nodes, and we do have two nodes here. If you hover long enough, you can see two nodes. There's no orders. You can just pick both of them. And here's 0 again because it's already created in the tree. So that's the C bush. Okay, you can't see it. We need one more step to let us to see it. So edit display and turn on the text. Okay, you can also change the colors. Let's try some bright color. So SP, and my font is pretty big already. It's not default. By default, it's very small. You can go to preference and visualization. There's color and the font. So here you can change the size. Okay, so that'll increase the size of your bushings. All right, so that tells me there is a bushing at this location, even though I'm not sure of how they connected. So how do we check the connection between them? The connection should be from the shell to this top spider, and the top spider should be directly welded on the C bar, and the C bar should not be welded on the center spider. It should be connected through this SP. So we have a tool here called show adjacent. Alright, so how do we use that tool? We turn off the shell first. Actually, we just need this. That's a pin connection. And turn off the bushing. Turn off this. Just leave one on the screen. So show adjacent will show the element that's adjacent to this element you're picking up. So if you do apply, you can see those elements, those 2D elements are directly connected on the spider, as well as the top C bar. Okay, remember we have two portions of the C bar. And if we collect the C bar, you're gonna think what you want to see. You don't want to see the center spider because that's not on the C bar. Okay, what's on the C bar is the bushing or the bearing, and through the bushing you have the center spider. So this way we can customize how this center spider rotates on each direction or which direction we want to. And let's finish the button. Select this one. So the bar is connected to the button spider. The button spider is connected to the shell. So that's the whole process of checking this joint. Okay, now we can, once you do that, the display is going to be weird because you have all the 2Ds hidden and you have this 2D on the screen. So you need to check it and uncheck it, then check it. You can see the whole 2D shell. Okay, so that is the process of making a pin joint. Then also that is a intact finished pin joint. Then you will do the same for this side. And I'm not going to show you this one. Let's move on to this one. So this one is a little bit different. The rotation is between two handles, not something in the middle. So what we do is we actually fix the C-bar on one of the handle, either one. Okay. If you hide the red, then we'll just fix the handle, fix the C-bar on this one and let the other handle rotate on top of this. So again, we need what polygon? We need a polygon to insert the node. Otherwise, the tool cannot snap to the mesh. It can only snap to polygon. So insert node and create. Doesn't matter which piece. That's the same circle. The bottom. Hide polygon. Then we have two nodes for two spiders that'll grab the handle. So 1D connection, RBE2, select the source in the middle, select target on the circle. Then we have the RBE2 for the collector for the handle, so we just put it in there. That'll inherit the color and the line weight. Then apply. Then for the next one, let's go ahead, keep making it. Okay, so those two is gonna grab the handle. Then we can insert a C-bar. And remember, this time we don't have anything in the middle, so we don't need a node in the middle. We can just simply insert element, create a C-bar, and we need a new collector. Okay, check if our bar is, yeah, and then we also don't want this bar to be put in the first collector, bar collector 1, because that'll be different diameters. And as long as you have different physical properties, you don't want them to be in the same collector. So we need a new collector and select those two nodes. Okay, that'll be the C-bar, the pin between two handles. Alright, so this whole set here is a rigid connection. Then we're gonna make RBE2s for the other handle, and they're gonna share, they're gonna have the same location of this source node, but different nodes. So we're gonna insert two more nodes so that they are not connected, and then we will apply a bushing between those two nodes. So on the top we have coincident nodes, two nodes. The same goes for the bottom. Then if we hide everything here, we see two nodes. We hide the yellow handle, turn on the red one. Now we need to grab the red handle. Okay. And target. If you like, we can create another one so they have different color. And you can actually rename it right here. Let's say that's another handle. Okay. Alright, so the target is on the edge. Apply, then do the same for the bottom. Okay, so at this location we actually have two spiders. Let's turn that on. Okay, and you can see the color, and they can rotate. They're not connected right now, and we need to connect them through bushings. So again, insert element, create, see bush, and we can put them in the same collector. That's fine because they are all pin connections, and they all rotate on the z direction, so they have the same physical property. And the only thing is you don't want to add to existing. You want this to be a totally individual bushing. So click twice at that location because we have two nodes, and that'll connect them, and do the same for the bottom. Okay, so now they are connected through the bushing, and I think now it's time to talk about the bushing property. And the bushing has, if you edit the property, has 6 degrees of freedom, and even has damping, but we don't use that. So the stiffness on 6 degrees of freedom. In this case, we want to free the z rotation, which is z rotation. Okay, and the others we just put in a really big number. There's a thumb of rule is it's about, I think, 4 or 5 orders bigger than your model stiffness, or maybe 3 orders bigger than your stiffness. So anyway, it's about e to 10 to the 7 or e to the 8. And I think I used 10 to the 8 in the other model, so we'll just use this one and leave the z rotation 0. So this way, the bushing is now a pin joint that can rotate on z direction. Sometimes you want a ball joint. What you do, you just turn all the rotation into 0. So that's pretty easy. And so now our bushing actually turns into a pin joint. All right. Then another thing you have to be careful is the bushing. As you see, we created on one spot, coincident. So the bushing element itself doesn't have any direction, right? It's just one dot. And the funny thing here is it doesn't have a coordinate system. So if you right click, you can all select them all. Right click and edit the mesh associated data. You will notice there's one option, enable coordinate system override. So if you don't override the coordinate system, the C bush or the bushing doesn't know your coordinate system is X, Y, Z. So you have to turn this on, and which one you want, that'll be the absolute. So this be the same as your model. So this way we'll give the bushings the coordinate system. Okay, otherwise, where is the Z? It doesn't know. So we have this, and let's take a look. All right, and then you should repeat on this side. Then the last pin joint is here, and this is another type of pin joint. Of course, you can, that's 2 holes. You can put a pin there, put a C-bush there. That's one way. And since they're just 2 holes, I got lazy, and here's what I did is just put 2 spider and connect them using a bushing directly. Let's find the blade first. Okay. Then insert a node for the spiders. So this time we need to find the node right in the center or in the middle of this cylinder. And since we have made 2 already, I'll directly insert 2 nodes at the same spot. So why two nodes? One for the top spider, the other one for the bottom. Then between those two nodes, we're going to connect them through a bushing. So create a spider first. The source is one of the nodes, so it doesn't matter. You just pick one first. The target is, this time it's not edge nodes. This time the nodes are on a surface. So we call that feature angle nodes. Okay, that's the element face with certain angles. So you actually selecting a element face, and if they're within 30 degrees, which is the default. Okay, within 30 degrees, you're gonna select them all. So we have that many nodes. Then you can have RB2 goes into the blades collector. So apply, and it looks pretty messy. And here you're gonna be careful, and you want to first hide this RB2 you just made. This way you have only one node left for the bottom spider. Then we select the bottom hole to make a second spider. Okay, and not only your collector can have customized color. I think I made a mistake. Nope, it's good. It's good. Okay, sometimes you would have that create an element and have this add to existing or something, but now we're good. So this one is the bottom spider. We can give it another color. Let it display and change color to, let's say, blue. Okay, so you can see the color difference. We can even hide other things. So we're gonna connect those two spiders just using a bushing right away, not like here we have a C-bar. So F8, look from the top, then we have only two nodes in the center. Then insert a bushing, create C-bush. Again, it's the same collector, and we're gonna pick two nodes. Okay, then you have the SP in the middle. It's hard to see because we have so many lines here. Alright, and also make sure every time you insert a C-bush, this is on create new. You want each individual SP is in their own mesh. Okay, something like this. Alright, then, so for the other side, you have to make it yourself. You don't want to watch me do the same thing again. And that's actually all the assembly for this project. And also, let's make sure the bushing has coordinate system. Sometimes, if you define the first one as absolute, everyone behind it in the same collector will have the same coordinate system. Alright, so we have coordinate system, we have stiffness. Okay, so the bushing is good, and you can of course check the connection, which is very important. A lot of times if your model doesn't run well, it says no results. That means one of your joints is not right. So let's see, what we got here is, this is a joint between the two handles. We can take a look how this is connected, show adjacent, and you know, this spider connects to the yellow handle, okay, but also this one connects to the bushing. So if I show adjacent for this one, you can only see the handle, the bushing, and the bar. You don't want to see the other spider at this location. Then we select the spider, then we select the bushing, we should be able to see the other spider. Okay. Then if you click the other spider, it'll show the red handle. Okay, so that's the connection between these elements. Let's go back. Alright, so this is the assembly of the fan. This is also very important that you check your connectivity between the elements, the RBE2s, to make sure if this is right. Okay, and I think that's all for this lab.